This is the Washington Times front page for Tuesday, January 13th, 2026. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. Lawmakers and former Federal Reserve officials have rallied to the defense of Fed Chair Jay Powell one day after the central bank said it received a grand jury subpoena from the Department of Justice. Tom Howell reports former Fed chairs Ben Bernanke, Alan Greenspan, and Janet Yellen accused President Trump of using prosecutorial attacks to undermine the Fed's independence. They said an investigation that pivots on Powell's testimony about a renovation of Federal Reserve buildings in Washington was a thinly veiled attempt to punish him for his cautious approach to reducing interest rates. President Trump has imposed a 25% tariff on any country doing business with Iran amid a violent crackdown there on mass protests. Under the tariff, Jeff Murdoch and Vaughn Cockayne report all of Iran's trading partners will be required to pay an additional levy on any business conducted with the United States. The president didn't provide any details about how the tariff would be implemented. China, Brazil, Turkey, India, and Russia are Iran's largest trading partners, combining for more than $10 billion in trade annually, according to the Observatory of Economic Complexity. Federal prosecutors have charged one of the illegal immigrants shot by U.S. Border Patrol in Oregon last week with assaulting a federal officer. Stephen Dinan reports authorities said Luis Nino Moncada repeatedly rammed his pickup truck into a government rental car, forcing officers to react. Details of the shooting remain unclear. An FBI agent said in court documents that no video has emerged of the encounter, which left Nino Moncada and another passenger wounded. They aren't calling it affordability, but House Republicans acknowledge the November midterms will be a referendum on what their party did or did not do to lower the cost of living. As Democrats ramp up a campaign to blame Republicans for an affordability crisis, Lindsay McPherson reports Republicans are preparing to pass bills aimed at lowering prices, particularly in the energy, housing, and healthcare sectors. Democrats are just a few seats away from winning control of the House this fall. All agree that the cost of living, along with the broader economy, will be the top focus for voters in November. The Supreme Court is weighing whether companies that provided oil to the federal government can force climate change-related lawsuits out of state courts and into more friendly federal courts. Alex Sawyer reports the justices seem sympathetic to that argument, but they worried about drawing lines to prevent a large abandonment of state courts in tort cases involving companies that conduct business with the federal government. The case originated in Louisiana, where several parishes sued Chevron, ExxonMobil, and other oil companies over unmitigated coastal erosion they claim resulted from the company's energy exploration. And finally, more boats and smarter weapons are just a few items Navy officials will tackle this week at the Surface Navy Association's National Symposium. John Seward and Ben Wolfgang report the conference this week in the Washington suburb of Arlington, Virginia, will have an estimated 90 vendors and more than 4,000 attendees. It's expected to focus heavily on changes to Pentagon procurement programs and the Navy's integration with other military services and international partner forces. Find all today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on social media at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.